Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks for joining us. On past episodes of Bloomington Today, we've demonstrated how residents are encouraged to find new and different ways to practice healthy living through our to-do lists. And while pickleball and ice skating have proven to be a fit for some activity-seeking residents, some people prefer a more gym-like setting. In this week's to-do list segment, we'll explore where residents can find a gym in an unexpected venue. The hallways are quiet at Kennedy Senior High School in Bloomington. It's early. Class is hours from being in session, but one area of the school is swarming with wide-awake residents getting their daily dose of exercise long before students fill these hallways. Welcome to the Kennedy Activity Center.
We joke about in the morning it's like happy hour without alcohol, you know, and it's a chance to just be a small community in a very large community.
Members have access to a full weight room, complete with cardio equipment, medicine balls, and various weight machines. But that's just the beginning.
Our track has 4 lanes, 7 laps is a mile. And I did mention below the courts, we always try to have an open court for our members so people can shoot baskets. Some people kick a soccer ball around, some people play catch. It just depends on how much space is on the court.
Kennedy Activity Center has offered fitness memberships through community education for the past decade, and many think it's one of the city's best kept secrets.
Well, I think part of the reason people like coming here versus a larger club environment is our size. It doesn't really feel like it's a competitive environment. With other members, there isn't that competition, and just accessibility. From the parking lot to the facility, and using the equipment that we have, the accessibility is pretty easier. And most importantly, I think the cost is a huge difference.
And a few things are for sure: when spending time at the Kennedy Activity Center, you'll break a sweat and you'll make some friends.
The people that come in here come in typically on a regular basis. I've met people that I never would have met in the community, working here or working out here. Same is true for my husband. People say that all the time, that the friends that they've met here they never would have met.
Stop by the Activity Center and fill out a membership application to gain access to this all-in-one workout facility. Be sure to bring proof of residency, as the Bloomington residents get a break.
Come on in and join.
We visited the Activity Center at Kennedy High School for this particular story, but there's a similar facility at Jefferson High School as well. Members have access to everything before, during, and after school hours. And before leaving the Kennedy High School Activity Center, we headed down to the gymnasium to find one well-known Bloomington organization getting their bump set spike on. Take a look. A vibrant group of Bloomington seniors has found its way to keeping an active body, mind, and community presence. The Born Again Jocks are a group that participates in physical activities of all kinds depending on the season.
So now we have golf, roughly 200 guys every Monday. Volleyball, 50 or 60 guys. Softball, another 30 or 40. Tennis, bocce ball. And they're even starting a bicycling club now. So other than that, we're not very busy.
The Born Again Jocks welcomes anyone 55 and older with any skill level to come join a game. And although they keep score and take some fun jabs at one another, the group is there to get some exercise and build relationships.
You get to know a lot of people, and there's a lot of good gentlemen.
Al is a 25-year Born Again Jock veteran, and he never misses a game.
I retired January 1st, 1987 on a Friday, and somebody shoved me toward volleyball. They said they're playing volleyball, so on the 4th, on the following Monday, 1987, I started volleyball, and I've been playing ever since. It's 3 days a week, it's a couple hours a day, and it's something to do.
The group plays volleyball at Kennedy 3 times a week until May, and on Wednesdays, they get a chance to put their practice to the test by taking on some of Kennedy's very own student body. Some days, the jocks and the students mix the teams together. Other days, like today, the jocks played against the students. And despite the difference in age, the jocks definitely give the kids a run for their money.
It's real fun. We have fun. We learn a lot. We're young, but they definitely give us a hard time.
And at the particular match we were filming, the jocks ended up beating the group of senior students. Anyone interested in joining the Born Again Jocks is encouraged to stop out to Kennedy and join a game. The group plays Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from about 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. The City of Bloomington would like to extend a big congratulations to volunteer Jim McDonald, who was recently honored for his tremendous contributions to an annual city festival. And at the February 27th award celebration, the power of unselfishly dedicating time to others is addressed.
And it struck me tonight that we matter when we serve. When you get to be my age, and you start to head toward that second half of life, and you start thinking about meaning and purpose and significance, you want to matter. And we matter when we serve.
And while the award finalists consisted of several of Bloomington's finest, Jim McDonald took home the 2012 Daymaker of the Year award, given by the Rotary Club of Bloomington Daymakers, an organization he's no stranger to.
I want to thank the Newton Rotary Club for putting up with me for 27 years and for all their friendship. I want to thank the City of Bloomington and all those charitable organizations that allow me to serve them. You know, just you go through it over and over and over. I mean, you know, you talk about, I barbecue, I think this is the 15th year, barbecue for 700 people with Washburn School and John Millerhagen. And you know what? I mean, I'm 100 times better person for me to having met John Millerhagen. And how about Les Fujitaki and all? I mean, it goes on and on and on. And Linda, and I mean, you know, I could name half the people in this room.
Nominees for the award demonstrate outstanding levels of service above self throughout Bloomington. Let's learn a bit more about this year's winner.
As far as my community involvement goes, I moved here in 1977, actually to the Twin Cities, moved to Bloomington in 1983. Joined the Bloomington Rotary Club in 1984, so that's about a 27-year stint with the Bloomington Rotary Club. One of the things that drives me is to honestly be able to put something back into the community. And so I started it with Rotary. I very soon after that started my first stint on the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. Served 2 terms on the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I still am a member of the Bloomington Chamber Economic Development Committee and the Community Outreach Committee. I don't remember the exact year, and I probably should, but I was the point person to start the Daymakers Rotary Club, and I consider that probably one of the most enjoyable and valuable experiences that I've done. I'm very proud of that. It was a lot of work, but the value was there. I'm driven by successful outcomes, and that was one of the great successful outcomes. I've done a lot of other stuff. I deliver Meals on Wheels. I work at companies to classrooms. I'm one of the founders and board members of the Bloomington Heritage Days. Through my involvement at Northwestern Health Sciences, I provided a spot and a lot of extra things for the community. The Easter egg hunt, we've had the Bloomington Rotary Harold Larson party at Northwestern. We've had many meetings over there for the board of the city council and the Bloomington education people. You know, just providing a place for them to meet. So I've opened up the school there. I'm very active with Washburn School, which is an elementary school next to Northwestern. For the last 12 years, I've barbecued every year for about 700 people. You know, it goes on and on and on. And I do this because I want to put something back into the community and because I want to leave this place better place than when I came in, and I truly mean that. And like I said, the outcome for me, the value I get out of it is to see something happen that is successful.
Congratulations again, Daymaker of the Year, Jim McDonald, as well as all the men and women nominated, and thank you for your service to the City of Bloomington. One local nonprofit agency has a long-standing partnership with Bloomington Human Services, and they're asking for the public's help in restocking its shelves. Bloomington Volunteers Enlisted to Assist People, or VEAP, is one of the largest food shelves in the state of Minnesota. And in order to serve the growing demand in this community for food bank access, local VEAP employees are celebrating Minnesota Food Share Month in hopes that it'll help replenish the dwindling food reserves.
Minnesota Food Share is a statewide campaign to fill the 300 food shelves, restock the shelves. This time of year historically is a down time for donations. I see the peak of donations during the Thanksgiving, Christmas season, and by March the shelves have been depleted pretty well, and demand continues to be really high.
According to VEAP representatives, between 2008 and 2010, visits to the food shelves in metro areas alone increased by 97%, and that number is only growing. Russ says this food pantry alone assists 2,200 people per month in keeping families fed.
As you can see, it's kind of just like a small store where families are able to come in and select items that they feel they need the most. It really creates dignity, and it's hard for a lot of people to come in to ask for help, and so we try to just make it as comfortable and at ease for them as possible.
VEAP's Bloomington location at 9728 Irving Avenue takes in food donations on its lower level. It's then sorted, checked for quality, and stocked in the market-style pantry upstairs, all by volunteers. VEAP wants to raise $100,000 or pounds of food to not only fill these shelves, but allow VEAP to continue serving the needs of area residents.
There's a lot of great ways to help this month. One way is to hold a food drive at your school, at your organization, at your company, place of work. Collecting food for us is a great way to give back directly. Focusing on our most needed items too is really helpful. Think basic items like rice and beans and tuna and soups and pasta and those type of things. Also hygiene products like toilet paper and paper towels, definitely high demand products. But also collecting funds. For every dollar that you donate to the food shelf, we can turn that into at least $5 worth of food.
VEAP has a running total on their website, www.veepvolunteers.org, of funds raised so far. Be a hero, help fight hunger, and make your monetary or non-perishable food item donation today. And if you aren't sure where a VEAP donation box is located, stop by Bloomington Civic Plaza. We have one at each of our main entrances. You can also find them at Festival Foods, Health Partners, and the Hartford in Bloomington. That's just a few of many. And it's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by two folks to discuss the upcoming Writers Festival. Stay right here.
From Maine to Maui, thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering in their communities.
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now pleased to be joined by John Noltner and Kate Pettit. They are both involved with the Bloomington Writers Festival and Book Fair. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, Kate, why don't we start with you? Coming up on Saturday, March 24th, there's an event put on by the Bloomington Theater and Art Center, and it's the 9th annual Writers Festival. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the Writers Festival started 9 years ago when a Bloomington author came in and said, why is there no Writers Festival here? Bloomington has tons of writers. And I happen to be, I'm a volunteer, happen to be in the office of the then Bloomington Arts Center, and the executive director said, oh, here's somebody that can put it together. So we started out with about 20 authors from Bloomington. And it has now grown to, we have this year about 80 authors and about 25 vendors who provide resources for authors who will be attending this year's Writers Festival.
Wonderful. So it's really just, it's a way for local authors to showcase their work, or maybe just, you know, lovers of the written word to maybe spark that drive to...
Right. What we do is we encourage the authors who come and rent their tables to act as resources for aspiring writers.
Okay.
Because there are about any time you can you ask, about 80 to 90% of people will respond, I have a book I want to write.
Oh.
So there are about there is a story to publication for each person who has ever written a book. Okay. And that's what we ask these authors and vendors to do, is to act as resources for people who are aspiring to be writers. We also invite the public to come and talk and find out which of their neighbors are writing books, what those books are, and perhaps find something they want to use for their book club.
Absolutely.
So.
Okay. Well, this event also, in addition, serves as a book fair where authors then bring in their publications. And John, why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. This is the first year that I'm involved with the book fair, and I had learned about it through the local newspaper. My book came out in November of 2011, and it was shortly after that, I think, that I saw something in the newspaper about the event. I thought it would be a good way to meet other local writers and to showcase my book in the local market.
Absolutely. Well, we have your book on set here. Why don't you tell us a bit about the publication that will be in the Bloomington Writers Festival Book Fair?
Sure. The book that I produced is called A Piece of My Mind, and it's a project that I've been working on for the last 3 years. I work as a freelance photographer, and this was a personal project that I did, where I photographed and interviewed 55 different people, asking them what peace means to them, how they work towards it in their lives, and what some of the obstacles are they encounter along the way. Actually, at least 2, I think maybe 3 of the subjects are actually from Bloomington.
Wow. As you are?
As I am as well. I've lived here with my wife for about 15 years.
Well, as you had mentioned, Kate, there's plenty to do. Talk about some of the free events available for participants on March 24th.
People will be able to talk to approximately 100 vendors and authors. They will get to look at their books. We have a multitude of genres, so if they are fiction lovers, we have tons of fiction books there. We have memoir and fantasy, as well as some regular nonfiction books, such as John's book, A Piece of My Mind. We also have the authors do readings.
Oh, okay.
And everyone is invited to come and listen to the authors read, and actually it really helps the authors to read, to have an audience to read, and it is free. People just can walk in, sit down, and listen as they read excerpts from their books.
It's almost like a sneak peek.
It's a sneak peek.
Do you want this book? Sneak peek. Well, and then there are some events that require pre-registration and have a $12 fee, but that $12 is well worth it. What are those events?
We have a keynote speaker, Pat Proft, who is a screenwriter, a playwright, an actor, and a comedian. He's local. He lives in another suburban community, and he will be talking about the art of screenwriting for us in the keynote, and then he will also be offering a workshop on how to write screenplays. We also have 22 other workshop presenters who will talk about not only the art of writing, but also about the business of writing, which is something that we generally don't think about. And each one of these people are considered to be experts in their field, and I think they will have some wonderful experiences for aspiring authors.
Absolutely. Well, you know, this is the 9th annual festival, so obviously there is some draw to it that not only keeps it going year after year, but draws in new authors like John here every year. First off, why don't you start by telling us kind of what's the drive behind it, who keeps it going, and then we'll ask John what brought you in.
We have a group of dedicated writers in the Literary Council. That is a committee that belongs to the Bloomington Theater and Arts Center. And our whole focus is the Writers' Festival. We work on this for the entire year.
Well, now this is the 9th annual Writers' Festival. Obviously there's some driving force behind it that keeps it going year after year. Tell us a bit about what that is.
I think when you have 80 to 90% of the community of people who have a book in them, they want to know how to go about doing this. And I think that's what drives people to this particular event, because our focus is on the aspiring authors, aspiring writers, people who really want to write a book and don't really know how to get started. So having people like John there who has gone through that process, as well as the workshop presenters who give them some practical steps on how to go about doing this sort of thing, I think is what drives people to this event.
Absolutely. Well, John, then same question. You know, this is your first year participating, but what kind of attracted you? I mean, are you just looking forward to kind of mentoring a little bit, or tell us about that?
Well, there are two things really. One thing that I've learned through this process is that once you have a book that's written and produced, you're only halfway done. The other part of the battle is letting the world know about it and finding out how to get it out to a larger audience. So one of my goals for being here is to let people know that the book is out there in the world. One of the other things is to network with other writers and find out what they're doing to let people know about their book, and hopefully learning something from that.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know, either of you then, where can residents learn more about this event? You know, it's coming up pretty quickly here, March 24th. Is there a spot online, or?
There are several places online that people can go. They can go to the Bloomington Theater and Arts Center's website, specifically to the www.bloomingtonartscenter.com, click on the Writers' Festival icon, and all of the workshops and their descriptions and the biographies and the registration material is there. We also have a Facebook page, Bloomington Writers Festival, and people can go there. And right now we are running the bios of the presenters, and shortly all the authors and vendors who will be appearing, as well as their table numbers, will be on the Facebook page. And then there's a Friends of the Bloomington Arts Center website, www.bloomingtonwritersfestival.org, that also gives additional information.
Okay, perfect. Well, lots of resources then. So be sure to visit one of those websites if you'd like more information on the registration events or anything else. We'd like to thank John and Kate for being here today. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
As we recognize the service of America's men and women in uniform, let's also honor the families who sacrifice so much every day. As the service member serves, so does the family. Do you really want to honor a veteran? Look for ways to support their families and thank them for their sacrifices. Go to legion.org/honor-veterans to find out how you can help.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, if you're a resident delaying getting your taxes prepared, it's not too late to get hassle-free, fee-free tax preparation services. Human Services has once again partnered with Accountability Minnesota and AARP Tax Aid to provide qualifying residents with free income tax assistance at Creekside Community Center. Qualifications include residents who are 60 or older, as well as individuals of any age who make less than $30,000 per year or $50,000 for families. This help is offered on a first-come, first-served basis from now until April 17th. Stop by Creekside Community Center, located at 9801 Penn Avenue South, on Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. Remember, these are walk-in only clinics. If you'd like additional information or have questions on the free tax preparations running through April 17th at Creekside, contact Human Services at 952-563-8733. And now it's time for another Arts at the Plaza segment. It's here that we introduce residents to the changing exhibits coming and going from the two galleries located inside Bloomington Civic Plaza. An exhibit called Unraveled is in the upstairs atrium gallery until April 29th. Work by Laura Andrews takes its theme from the relationship between people and the natural world. The pieces have a very realistic look to them, largely thanks to a Minnesota State Arts Board grant that allowed Andrews to shadow several hunters and visually document their activities. This experience gave her an intimate glance at the human role within the natural world. The gallery is open Monday through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Bloomington's Noon Rotary are sponsoring their third annual community paper shredding event, and they want to start spreading the word early. Mark your calendars for this event that's happening on Saturday, May 5th from 9 a.m. to noon in the west parking lot of Bloomington Civic Plaza. Bring an average size box of personal documents you'd like shredded. The cost is just $5 per box, and all proceeds will go to the Bloomington Noon Rotary, which in turn supports nonprofit organizations, programs, and charities throughout the city. And if you're curious which documents should be shredded and which should be recycled or just thrown out, log on to the city's website and keyword search SHRED. You'll find additional details on the Community Shred event, as well as helpful tips to keep your identity safe. Well, that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockerill. Thanks so much for joining us.